What is up?
Hey, everybody.
It's 6 o'clock. It's a Wednesday. We know that can mean only one thing.
The best night of the week.
Lost is on in 3 hours, 2 hours or whatever. I didn't care about that. It's Gilligan's Island. We've got a fantastic, perhaps the greatest of all,
The best.
live performances ever today. We have, of course, the good Dr. Andrew Goodrich to my left. We have Miss Annabelle Daisy Sunshine. We have, from New York City, the fantastic photographer Tanya Briganti. We have Mr. Jackie Gleason. We have, I can't see if you can see them or not, Mr. Andrew Duhon, Mrs. Emily Franzen, Mr. Josh Charles. What a show. We're going to have a lot of music, not too much talk. Some talk.
That's good.
That's good, says Andrew, the good doctor. We have 11,000 Twitter followers. Andrew believes that is too many.
Too many. Scale it back a little bit.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. How can you say that?
Just kidding.
The music business continues to roll on. I must give a shout out right now, immediately, to my friend, Mr. Ian Rogers of Topspin. We were speaking on the phone, and he exhorted myself and the other people on the phone to work together to advance the cause that we all believe in. I believe at this point I'm plugging in the computer. I believe my throat hurts. I believe example. I'm quoting REM.
You'll get it.
There we go. All right. So, Mr. Ian Rogers, a shout out to him. I will give a shout out to all people who do not describe themselves as futurists. I have a request that anyone that considers themselves a futurist immediately go to the future and do not burden me with your presence here in the present any longer. I cannot stand you any longer. What is it that makes you a futurist? Unless you can actually travel in time, you are not a futurist. Apparently a lost theme that is developing. That's right, McFly. Annabelle would like to come say hi. Come on up. Annabelle, fresh from the bath. Annabelle actually makes herself presentable for these things. I, on the other hand, nowhere near presentable. I have a mystery illness. It could be the bird flu. I have a little smidge of the bird flu. So, what do we need to talk about, Andrew?
We need to talk about a lot of things.
Okay.
We need to talk about how the major labels have made branded credit cards, artist-branded credit cards. That is their solution that will save.
This is what will save everything.
It will save the music business, actually.
Seems like a good move now that nobody can get credit.
It's fair enough.
They're right on the edge of things. I got an idea. Now that nobody can get a credit card, let's brand them with what, the Pussycat Dolls?
Pussycat Dolls. Who knows?
Okay. We want to engage in things that could actually help the artist and help people. I don't see exactly how credit cards are going to do that. We want to try and build something.
It's not a gimmick.
It's not a gimmick. We want to try and encourage people to build constituencies in their hometown, in their local areas, and then build off of that. Build little patches of fans in various places around the country within driving distance of your hometown. We want to encourage people to start thinking of their fans as users, not drug users, but as people that can take their music and insert it into their lives in some meaningful way. We want to encourage people to make art that is durable, that stands the test of time. We want to encourage people to make art that allows them to generate enough revenue to make more art. So,
why users?
Users?
Why not?
I think that's a good way to begin thinking about the thing that you build.
Because everybody's talking about tribes and.
I know, but we're like the way we are with that. We were like on that before anyone was talking about it. We talked about it while others began talking about it, and now it's kind of like I don't want to say that.
Now Oprah's talking about it.
Dear Lord, Oprah.
So now it's users.
I know.
So
I know.
What does that mean?
For me, it means that you need to think about how people are going to interact with the music that you make in their own way. How are they going to use your music? Now, certainly they're going to use it to make love to. As I tweeted out earlier, Mr. Ben Wiseman from Dillinger Escape Plan is a very generous lover. They're going to use their music.
What?
They're going to use your music in any number of ways. But you need to consider, for instance, perhaps you could make available your Pro Tools stems. People could use those to create new works on. Perhaps you want to bundle your music with some sort of apparel. People could use it in that manner. I like the idea of people taking music and beginning to employ it in their lives in some meaningful way and get it out of the idea that music is some sort of passive background thing. That people need to interact with it. That's really the right thing.
So like all the artists at Cash, like the stuff
please,
that they're doing.
Elaborate on that, please, by all means.
You know more about it than I
do,
but
you
I
brought it up.
Kristen Hirsch.
Kristen Hirsch.
She did exactly what you were talking about when she was recording her album. She released all the Pro Tools stems and for free, I believe.
Yeah.
And allowed everybody to remix or mix.
Go ahead, continue.
She also did fan artwork.
Fan artwork.
Yep.
This is how people can engage with your music. And think about it in terms of your website, too. How are people using your website? And obviously what we want them to use our websites for is to spread the good word, to be evangelists, right?
Preach.
To preach, irrespective of their religious beliefs, right? So are you thinking of your website as a way for people to interact with it and use it? And if so, what way do you want them to use it? And these are the questions that you have to ask and hopefully answer in some meaningful way. Right?
Correct.
Did I articulate it all?
It's beautiful.
No, it was something. All right, I think that it's probably time to start hearing some music and start talking about something. It's Fausto from Marblehead. Fausto, how are you? Okay, so we're going to hear some music. We have music galore here. Which one of you gentlemen would like to grace us with your music first?
Go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Josh Charles. Before you wait, should we have some music first and then banter, or banter and then music?
Josh?
I'm all for banter.
Banter!
No. Music first, maybe. Then might be more banter.
You went, okay, music first.
Yes, those were the choices.
Those were the choices. You articulated them admirably. Mr. Josh Charles from New York City, but now thinking about perhaps
I'm adopted here.
He's adopted New Orleans. He loves New Orleans, and he's thinking, I may just stay here, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try take 2.
Take 2? Oh, that's right. You tried 4 days pre-Katrina.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so now we're gonna have to move our levels a little bit. I think we're doing good. Oh yeah. Oh, all right.
What are we going to play?
Well, that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
I would never deign to suggest what you play. This is not the late show where we tell you what to play. If you want to play radio.
At 3 minutes and 27 seconds.
That's right. If you want to play radio. Anybody get the reference?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
From the Elvis Costello, Pump It Up.
Very good. So,
all right, I'm going to play a single from my record, and it's called Love, Work, and Money.
Love, work, and money. We like that. And Samba Rouge makes an excellent point. We should banter more so that more people will join us. But such is the nature of the live broadcast. I agree with that, but we can keep playing. So we'll do this, and maybe we got lots of music to
You
do.
all can sing along on the breakdowns if you feel like it.
Okay.
Try it out.
All right.
And at home.
At home, sing along. Yes, by all means.
All right. How many times have I told myself not to ever back in this situation? Money's gone and there's no work inside. I'll stay right here, I keep on fighting, fight. Oh, that love, working, money makes this world go round. What brings you up can also break you down. It's a never-ending circle, always merry-go-round. Love, working, money makes this world go round. When it comes time to pay the bills, what am I gonna do? When my woman wants a diamond ring and I got nothing I can use. Well, the odds are stacked against me, and I can sure see. But you know what, it still don't make no difference to me. You know that love, working, money makes this world go round. What brings you up can also bring you down. It's a never-ending circle, always merry-go-round. Love, working, money makes this world go round. about love, work, and money. Love, work, and money. Love, work, and money. Love, work, and money.
All right. Fantastic. What some people don't realize is it's just as with the David Letterman show where Dan Paul has to play on everyone's song. The beautiful Annabelle gets to accompany on violin. So if you heard some dulcet violin tones going back there, that was Annabelle. But that was an incredible song. Really incredible piano work and vocals. I detect a bit of Dr. John influence, or no? Or?
Yeah, he was my mentor.
Oh well, okay. So I detect correct.
That would be a big part of where that kind of comes out of, especially when you play it solo in New Orleans piano. It's kind of like, I was just playing the whole band.
Yeah.
Parts, But I came from that background. That's sort of where that style is. I took the things I learned from him and Professor Longhair and James Booker and all those guys and just kind of mixed it up to my own version of gumbo.
Excellent. Well, it's a good version of gumbo. So if you don't mind giving us a little kind of biographical information and by all means shout out where people can hear more of your music.
Well, you can hear all the music on joshcharlesmusic.com.
Okay.
And
that's a good URL too. If you go to that.
It's easy, right?
Well, but I imagine, when did you get that URL?
As soon as the record came out, actually, I got it.
How long ago?
I think I got it sometime last summer.
Really? Okay, I would think that might be one that was already taken, but that's great. So tell us a bit about your bio.
Well, I grew up in Kansas City, and I was classically trained at the piano, but I was.
So one of our guests said, "What? No Leon Russell as an influence?"
Not as much, but I dig early Leon Russell a lot. I think my main influences as far as piano players go were James Booker and Mac and Billy Preston.
Right.
But also as a jazz musician, so I just trained in straight ahead jazz. So bebop players, Monk, Duke Ellington.
Oh, great.
But anyway,
and you're sort of Kansas City, so you were.
Yeah, I grew up in Kansas City. It's a blues town, and I was classically trained. But I remember they played New Orleans piano music on the radio on the Sunday Hour Blues Show. And I heard, I think it was James Booker or something, when I was about 13 years old. And I just decided at that point I had to learn everything I could find out about that kind of piano stuff.
Now, did this make you a very cool 13-year-old, or a
no,
13-year-old that got beaten up a lot?
This made me I used to give assemblies in high school, classical piano assemblies.
Yeah, that'll get you the ladies as a 13-year-old.
People would get excused from class to come to see my performances, and then I'd get beat up after school.
I need to be excused from class to go beat Josh up.
No, they never beat me up. They actually thought it was cool that they got out of school,
And then they beat you up.
Okay. But yeah, so I started playing in blues clubs at a really young age, and then I moved to New York. I actually came to New Orleans, and I got into school with Ellis Marsalis at UNO, but I ended up going to New York studying jazz with Barry Harris.
Okay, so talk a little bit about, because I know this is relevant to the people that watch the show either live or archived. There are a lot of people wondering, do you need to be in, say, New York or LA or some kind of major city in order do you need to make a call?
No, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't going to work.
Okay. but by all means, text away.
Yeah.
You could Twitter if you want. Yes, Twitter to Oprah if you need to. But do you think that it's a good thing, an important thing to be in a big city, or can that be a liability? Or
well, I always knew that I had to be in a big city when I started out. I moved to New York when I was 19, and I told my folks that I was going to go. At the time, there were record labels actually did rule. So, the beauty of what's happening now with this deconstruction period, I think it's an opportunity to really construct something. I went there because if you can make it,
references,
right? If you can make it in New York, like they say, you can make it anywhere. I think for me, it was just New York had a lot of my favorite. Ironically, my favorite places in New York was a club called Tramps, which was actually a New Orleans music club.
Right. Yeah.
So I think I always, in some way, shape, or form, always connected myself to the city, and a lot of that, like I said, had to do with the fact that I met Dr. John when I was young.
So when you said he was your mentor, I took that kind of in a metaphoric sense. Did you actually study with him?
Yeah. The same way, I was actually talking to him about last night, the same way that he studied in the sense that he hung around people like Professor Longhair and said, hey, show me what you were doing.
Right.
Or, I think what I learned mostly from Mac is like life lessons.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but
he was one of the first things he ever said. I met him here in New Orleans. I was visiting when I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I'd already gotten known in Kansas City for playing kind of this boogie woogie New Orleans stuff. And I went up to his road manager and I said, I got to meet him. I want to play like him. I have to meet this guy. And then one of the first things he said to me was, "Are you clean? Are you straight?" And I never got into anything bad.
I was hoping you'd do your Mac impression when you said
I think it's impossible to say anything.
It always, whatever is said sounds much more profound in that voice.
I'd asked
he
him,
could do like the ingredients of a cereal.
Well, and he has. I actually, I saw him last night at the Eddie Bo tribute here at Mid City Rock and Roll, and I had told him that I'm getting asked a lot about my relationship with him, and like I say, he was a mentor, he's a friend, he's a teacher. He let me sit and watch behind him at the piano. I mean, I figured out most of the stuff he was doing anyway, but learning, especially not being from New Orleans, he showed me a lot about the traditional rhythms of the street beats and the parade rhythms, and how you really can play this music authentic, and then how do you take it and make it your own.
Fantastic. So you mentioned the deconstruction of the music business, fables of the deconstruction, deconstruction of the fables. How are you reconstructing it in a more meaningful way?
Well, I've had experience with labels. Many years of experience.
Good times?
No, not good times.
How so? Because everybody out there, I have a long involved theory about this that I will not bore anyone with, but everybody out there at some point in their little artistic journey thinks the answer, the need, what they have to do is to get signed by a label.
Well, that was the thought. As I was growing up, that was the only
still the thought.
Yeah, it's the only way that you, at the time, could get your music out there. There was no internet. There was no way to get on radio. There was no way to get on MTV. If you wanted to be a music artist, you had to be signed to a major label, so they put you out there. But and that's the path that I took with a couple of different labels.
Right.
But to no avail, because if they, for whatever reason, I don't want to go into that, but I will say what we're doing now.
That's more important.
Is using the chaos and creating something out of it, positive. The reason I'm in New Orleans and I've been getting so much attention here is for something I'm doing to help the city, because as an artist and as a person, as just a human being, I don't think there's a more important place in America culturally than New Orleans. And it's been 3.5 years since Katrina, and I tried coming here finally in 2005 before Katrina, and I evacuated. I came back a few months later and started recording with some of Dr. John's band at Piety Street. I was the only recording studio at the time. And I played piano at Play Jazz Fest in 2006, and while I was here in December of 2005, which was only 3 months later, after the storm, I was able to tour around with a family that had a congressional pass to go where you couldn't go. And at that point, I think any human being would just, it was impossible to describe.
Sure.
But I came up with this song called Healing Time, and I never wrote it, I never released it, and then up until recently, my management and I sat down, and she'd asked me what means the most to you, like what is most important. I said, well, New Orleans. And so we approached some organizations, and my management was able to, this is a totally unique example of what's going on, what you could do nowadays.
Okay.
The song is out, available exclusively on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And people say, well, it's not on iTunes. Well, I'll say the reason it's not on iTunes is because Amazon was willing to give away their 30 cents on the dollar so that they don't take any money, so that we could get a 99-cent download. And we're able to facilitate the direct deposit of when people download the song to the Preservation Resource Center to rebuild New Orleans. And that has been, there's been a lot of interest in the story because creatively, and we also just did a tour called the Rebuild Tour, which we put together strictly through sponsorship. That was either a hotel in New Orleans or Texas. We played South by Southwest. We toured around the South, and every individual town or whatever, some bigger sponsors, we had Whole Foods and Guitar Center, but basically we were able to go out and do a tour completely based on sponsorship. without any label.
Right.
And
Well, and if I could just stop you, because Andrew was asking me what I meant when I said how do you get people to use your music? You've said it so much more articulately than I can. They're using your music to benefit others, to do things, and they're taking it, and it's not just some passive thing. They're interacting with it, and then the actual financial component that you've managed to work through with Amazon to actually have it go directly to them. That's a perfect example of how one might use the music.
yeah, it's unprecedented, because if I was on a label, I wouldn't be able to do
No,
that.
you could never do that.
And I also noticed that we've debuted the song. I'm not a major label artist anymore, and we ended up debuting the song on Good Morning America for the inauguration of Barack Obama with the Harlem Boys Girls Choir.
Well, we must hear the song immediately.
Unfortunately,
No, there's no unfortunately.
it has a choir.
So what?
Is anybody asking to hear the song?
I am.
Okay.
How can we not play the song?
You mean you want me to play it,
Yes.
or you can play it through?
No, I want you to
speakers?
play it. Is that really? Am I really putting you on the spot?
I could do it.
All right.
You can.
Somehow I knew you could.
I hope that you have how many followers on?
Well, we have 10,000,
10,000.
11,000.
If 10,000 of them go and download the song for $1 at a time, we've got a good start.
Okay. Well, we will endeavor to do that.
This is called Healing Time. When your life turns to shambles, you can't see your way through, and the nail starts to rust, the wound starts to bleed. You can't catch your breath. Heart is like a drum, and the world around you is a blur. And all you need is healing time to make it through. Get the pain and the sorrow. Get better tomorrow. You lost all your possessions. All you're left with are memories. And the house where you grew up has been washed away. And all you need is healing time to make it through. Forget the pain and the sorrow. Be better tomorrow. Future is tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. The struggle still continues, and the battle rages on. Yeah, the battle rages on. 'Cause all we need is healing time. 'Cause all you need is healing time. Well, all you need is healing time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All you need is healing time.
actually almost didn't play that. You were like, oh no, I need a choir. What? And a harp. I can't do this without my harpist.
You missed the choir.
No, we didn't miss the choir. That was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you.
I hope that everybody will go down.
Well, we're going to put some information up on the blog about it. We're going to Twitter it out. We're going to get Chaz Nisbet on it. We're going to get this out there.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
But that was fantastic. Now, there are a couple more questions. We've got lots more to talk about. But somebody did ask, what's... And I like to try and have something actionable that people can kind of leave with and learn about. Now, obviously, the action here is to go and find that song, and we'll make that easy for them. But in terms of career type stuff, you've been doing this for a while. What type of advice, what type of wisdom do you want to impart? What type of knowledge would you like to drop?
I think it's such an interesting time. It's good and bad in that way because everybody can put their music out there. You don't have to be a musician. You don't have to study. You don't even have to know anything about music, and you can still be a big YouTube star. You could do this. I mean, I think if you're expressing yourself creatively, no matter how you do it. For me personally, if it has soul, whether it could be rock, metal, I don't care. As long as it has some kind of authenticity.
Has to start there.
It has to start
But
there.
how do you go from there? There are lots of people in their bedrooms with soul. They may be generous
Well, I mean,
lovers.
if you're in your bedroom, you can put a video up on YouTube, and there's people. I always wonder how people have.
Is that
hundreds
enough, though? Is that enough?
For some people, it is. It's
Like
not
the-
enough for me, but I mean, I think for me, my management. I'm managed by a couple of people, and one of my managers is famous for Ben Folds, and he took Ben at a time when people were like, "Why would you work with this guy?"
Right.
Is a usually so everything changes and grows. But I think the one thing is, if you're an artist and you have sustainability, it's because you have merit in what you do, and you have a sense of who you are. And I think for a lot of times people, like I started out playing this piano and then went into straight ahead jazz, went into kind of adult contemporary, went into a hard rock band,
Really?
and then went center and came back to what I did in the beginning. So I think, we all go on that
Part of
journey.
an evolution. But now let me ask you this. Could you have evolved on that journey to a place where clearly I think you have found your voice, it's safe to say, without having kind of gotten out there and tried some things? See, I worry that people keep it too cloistered in their bedroom, and they kind of try and make Dark Side of the Moon when they need to get out there and do stuff.
Well, for me personally, I love playing live. When I'm not playing live, I don't really, being in the studio is fun, but it's also torture. I prefer being on stage. I think that the fun thing about when I watch performers who I think are my favorite, people like U2 or Springsteen or any of these people, I mean, it's because they'll always have people
You
buy
might want to
tickets.
shout out to Ben Folds.
Yeah, and Ben Folds. when they perform live, people want to pay money to go see them, and I just feel like if you can perform live, then you are 90%.
So this is what I'm getting at. You have to do the YouTube stuff, all of those things, but you also have to play live. And I'm glad you said it.
And the thing is I think, like I was having this discussion the other day at the Jazz Fest. They had the Deacon John, old R&B classics, and everybody back in the day had their game, their A game.
They have to.
You couldn't sing out of tune.
What is this B game that people speak of?
More like a D game.
Well, the one thing that we're very clear about is the web shines a very bright light on mediocrity, and mediocrity must run in fear. So we got to get on our A game.
But it also, I've heard stuff. If people give me CDs, I'm always interested in hearing what's out there. I personally, I can only remember a few times in the last few years where somebody's given me something, and I'm like, wow.
Oh, right.
But there's so much music out there. It's hard to keep track. How do you stand out from everybody else? Like the one thing I know, the way I play, the way I sing, is if I'm playing on a bill with somebody else, I'm most likely not going to get compared to that person. And I don't think you got to figure out, well, how am I different from anybody else? And I'm not a big YouTube artist or anything like that. I use Twitter a lot. I broke into Twitter and got a lot of Dave Matthews.
Because of Oprah?
No, actually, Dave Matthews. Somebody found my music through Dave Matthews and really liked it and spread it around the Dave Matthews Twitter community.
Oh, we like this.
And I played at the House of Blues the other night with Dave Matthews, but
everybody's like, play Crash!
But it was Dave Matthews, the organ player from Etta James's band. So it was a different Dave Matthews. But
Were the requests for Crash?
On the radio, I announced, "Hey, Dave Matthews up on stage." So I started to get like these crazy.
Because Dave's been in town recording.
He's here. Yeah,
right.
He's
Well,
here,
we didn't want to go there exactly,
but
the cat's out of the bag now.
I think, like I said, one of the other things that we're working on. Some of the things we've been able to do. I don't take any credit for just everything except just the music. That's what I take.
Well, you've got management, and a lot of people want to know, how did you get management? At what point how did that happen?
When I was on a major label, I had management. I can tell you that most of my experiences with management has always been awful.
Yeah. Because you didn't need them. They didn't know what to do. You didn't know what they were supposed to do. So everybody sat around in a room looking at each other.
But now I have a group of managers because I feel like one mind is always it's better to combine your talents, and if you're really good at one side of the story and somebody else is good, but and I'm sure you probably know my names, but I won't. It's one of those things where I feel like if you need a manager at least. I think I got a manager prematurely.
Yes, most artists do.
I think I got a manager when I found my new manager. I was finally to the point where I needed one. But there are artists I know who are booking themselves, who are making money, and very successful, and they have no manager. And I just got a booking agent just 3 weeks ago.
Right on.
After been doing this,
it is harder to get a booking agent than a record deal by far and away.
Yeah, and I don't want a record deal, so I feel like some of the things we're trying to do.
Look at this. We love this. I don't want a record deal. That should be our slogan. Artist House. I don't want a record deal.
You're gonna put me on that.
Right, we're gonna have a picture of you,
I can just
and then a pic in the back. There's gonna be like a handshake with a record over it and a line through it, like the Ghostbusters logo.
Well, one thing that I think is really interesting. We just developed this today.
You and me?
No, I just found this out like 20 minutes ago. But one of the artists, we're working with a New Orleans artist to design something for our healing time.
Yeah.
And we were told that he wouldn't have touched it and done this if I was on a label.
Oh, we love that.
So
we love that. Labels become anathema.
You look at things it's just like the opportunities are out there. You just got to figure out how to take a slice of the pie. And I think
but it's an ever-expanding pie. You taking a slice of the pie does not cannibalize it from somebody else.
Right.
We need to build wealth and build connections and not,
And if you write music and you write songs, I think, getting paid as a songwriter is still a viable way to make it. But it's also not. People steal music. They take your music. So what are you going to do if you don't make money from if you don't make money from selling your music? What are you going to make? How are you going to make money?
Brother, you're preaching to the choir. I got into a big kerfuffle with somebody who suggested that we begin bundling 200 to 300 songs and selling them for $10. Of course, he took into account nothing with regards to, say, mechanical licenses or those types of things. Yeah. So, you don't need to. I'm with you completely. I think it's a balance.
I think it's an exciting time. I don't know how specifically. Like if I was. I don't, I play guitar and I sing, but that's not really my forte.
It's not your forte. Carpentry.
Playing piano and singing is my forte.
Oh, guitar.
So if I'm going to pick up a guitar, there's going to be a million people who can play and sing better than me.
Piano is definitely your forte.
Yeah, so I think if you stick to what you're good at, and also just try and keep growing. Like I said, I just came from piano night the other night. Some of my favorite piano players in New Orleans are my favorite players in the world. They keep practicing to get better, even though they're already the best in the world.
Well, but you never stop.
I think people stop.
People shouldn't stop.
Yeah, they shouldn't. No. So
clearly, people stop.
I think.
I'm sure if you've heard the new U2 record or not.
I like the new.
They stopped.
I like that. I'm a big fan of the new U2 record. Just let people know. But
it's been fantastic.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll get all the information up there, and man, you're doing great stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, boy, that was cool. All right, I had stuff.
I love the U2 record.
Okay. I had stuff I wanted to say, but frankly, there's nothing that I could say that. Well, anyway, Mr. Andrew Duhon. It's time for Mr. Andrew Duhon.
Sure.
Now, do we prattle on or do we play some music? Let's throw it out to the crowd. Should we just dive right in to the music out there? I agree. Okay. Do you agree with what? Diving right into the music or chatting with Andrew before? Music. Perfect. Andrew, music. Music, everybody. George, shut up. Let him play music. Yes,
was not sure when I got into
Where would you like me, over here?
What's that? Why don't we move you over here? We'll go to camera 2. And you can go right over here.
Oh, sweet. I'll stay.
Do you want a stool or something? You sure?
Forward.
You can stand too if you're more comfortable.
This is good.
Okay, let's move. Got camera 2 on. Okay. Mr. Andrew Duhon from New Orleans, Louisiana.
This is a song off the new record. It's called Scared to Death of Dying.
Everybody's got their dreams. Some just wake up before theirs has told the truth. Others chase them around like children, but grow old before theirs has shown their youth. Yeah, nobody's got forever, but a dream can make forever feel too soon. Yeah, it'll make you scared to death of dying, too scared to even move. Well, I ain't got got songs on the radio, and I'm not sure I'd be happier if I did. But I'll sit and sing a song for you, and I'll make whatever people want to give. And I watch folks around me trembling at the faults they can't seem to forgive. Yeah, I might be scared to death of dying, but I ain't afraid to live. Oh, setting sun, if you're coming back this way, won't you bring me back tomorrow? Oh, setting sun, if you're coming back this way, won't you bring me back tomorrow? Lord, 'cause I ain't got much to promise, but I'll give you all I know how to give. Yeah, I might be scared to death to die, but I ain't afraid to live. Yeah, this path don't need a battlefield. This road I walk is dangerous as it is. They put his name there on the war memorial that he and I would skate along as kids. Mr. General, he might call me up and call me son, but I ain't wanna hear. Yeah, I might be scared to death to die, but I ain't afraid to live. No, 'cause I'd rather miss my home than miss what might be my one chance to run. Learn the lessons of my father, to watch the setting of his only son. Yeah, he might be tough to look at around midday, but he'll grow gentle when the evening comes. Yeah, he might be scared to death to die, but I ain't afraid to run. Oh, setting sun, if you're coming back this way, won't you bring me back tomorrow? Oh, setting sun, if you're coming back this way, won't you bring me back tomorrow? Oh, no, 'cause I ain't got much to promise, but I give you all I know how to give. Yeah, I might be scared to death to die, but I ain't afraid to live. I ain't afraid to live.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic. How great. I could listen to you all day. I think your songwriting, your voice, everything.
Can we go by the hour?
I have to pay for this? Yeah, well. All right. So, Emily, do you want to come get in on this?
Sure.
All right. Come on in. Well, you don't leave. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Screen management.
What can we do? Remember, you could use that stool, or you could
I'm the
stand.
same height as him standing up.
That's very good. Okay, so now
Yeah.
you need to. We all
That's
need to.
about right.
Okay, this looks good. This looks good.
Are we all-
So, Emily, you are Andrew's manager.
I am.
Now, managers just took a little bit of a beating
It's okay.
a few minutes
It's
ago,
okay.
but one thing managers must have is tough skin. Right, for sure, absolutely right. So, tell us a little bit about your bio, your background. Either of you guys can answer these questions, and again, as we did with Josh, I'd like to try and get at what you're doing, how you're getting out there, and I kind of know the story, so I'll chime in, but I'd like to hear you guys tell a little bit too.
Well, why don't you go first? You just played.
All right. Well, I started writing songs in high school. Started playing guitar in high school. I wasn't the person whose father was Woody Guthrie and taught him guitar or anything like that. But I picked up guitar before college and really started to get inspired by literature first, and that's what made me start writing. But at the same time, simultaneously, I was becoming fascinated with very simple guitar, and I put the two together and started crafting songs out of writing.
Okay.
So in the end,
What type of literature? Just out of curiosity.
it was originally like Walt Whitman poetry, and then Thoreau and Emerson, and
I thought you were going to say like Faulkner and Cormac McCarthy or something. Did that come later?
or
Or it has not come yet?
well,
It will come.
Yeah. Well,
It's just a matter of when.
and what it spurred on was a fairly simple music that is lyrically driven, you know, and it's about the writing, and eventually, to quote Emerson, I began to believe that if to believe what is true in your own private heart is true for every man, that is genius.
Now, you know, my son's middle name is Emerson, so beautiful. You and I are speaking the same language.
Right on. But that's what it's become to me is a lifelong mission to make this art and let people listen and hope that they can relate to the honesty.
What a great mission. I love that. How are we accomplishing this mission, Ms. Franson?
How are we accomplishing this mission?
Oh, we must have resolute conviction that indeed we are.
Well, Andrew and I have been working together for, I guess, almost a year now, and
Now, how did that happen? Because again, you know, a lot of people out there are interested. How does the management relationship happen? What did it do? Do you guys have a contract? And share what you will and what you won't. That's fine.
it was totally and completely accidental. I think I would
The
say.
accidental manager.
Right.
That's exactly what it was. I sometimes refer to myself as a de facto manager, but no, I was running a production company right after Katrina for about 2 or 3 years, and Andrew had opened up a set for one of the shows I had put on, and you know, at the time I'd just come back from Baton Rouge. He was at LSU, and we just kind of kept in touch, and I eventually stopped with the show production for reasons I won't get into, but we got back in touch a couple months later, and he said, you know, I'm recording this record with Trina Shoemaker.
Huh? Let's do a shout out to Trina.
Yeah,
Trina's a
shout out
wonderful
to Trina.
producer, and there's a lot of Trina interview on the Artist House website. So please look it up.
Me too. Me too.
Annabelle.
buddy. Me
I'm
too.
not that
Maybe you want to
Man.
go play or do something, sweetheart. the attention span of a 5-year-old.
But yeah, we got back in touch when he started recording the record and said, you know, I need somebody to help me out promoting the record, doing the CD release party, and I kind of hopped on board, and we just started at the ground up, and it became us kind of working at everything rather than just the record and just the CD release.
I mean, the people that focus just on the record or CD release,
Yeah.
that's not a good plan.
Not so much.
Not so much. So, okay. So, where are you currently? What's going on with where the record came out when?
The record came out January 30th, so we're 4 months?
A couple months into it, and how's it going?
No complaints, really. You know, I would say slow and steady is appropriate, and at the same time, with the iTunes lag, who knows how slow it is at this point right now.
iTunes lag, meaning how long
it takes to
get payment in accounting. Yeah, they do it quarterly, right?
I
Or
believe
monthly.
so.
Well, if you do it for TrueCore, I think you get it monthly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it really does feel it's finally becoming tangible to me, the effects of the promotion that we've done and the touring that I've done and that kind of groundwork, sending out newsletters and getting replies back rather than checking the statistics of newsletters. And, good, 5% opened it up.
Hey,
That's
look,
really
we
great,
can get that.
you know?
No, we've talked about this. I mean, there is a lag, and I think people in this instant kind of gratification world, and especially when you stir in social media, where you feel like immediately by doing this, we should just have this groundswell. It doesn't work that way. People have to process stuff. People have to come to it, even with being hit with this stuff. And in some respects, because they're hit with so much stuff, there's a lag between what you do and then the actual scene results from it.
And it honestly, it feels very tangible to me, like we were putting this thing out over and over again, whether it be something as mundane as flyers or whatever, just kept putting it out, and finally just word of mouth made its way back to behind my ear to say, hey, are you Andrew Duhon, that guy that we heard at that show or whatever? And that repeatedly happening makes me realize, okay, there's a base here now, you know, and if we successfully promote something, people who are interested will find out and likely, you know.
That's right. That's what we always say, is you can't build a community. Saying we're going to start an Andrew Duhon social network is a bad idea. There is a community in existence out there already that will dig what you do. Right. Your goal is to put your music in front of them, make them aware of it, and then they will coalesce around that. Right. But it takes. I mean, how many things are we bombarded with every day? Right. You know, and so it takes. You're good enough. It's going to stand out, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to take several passes for people to go, oh yeah, there's that guy, you know, because they're getting bombarded. So it is that slow and steady, it is that persistence thing, and and this is the job of the managers. I see it is to maintain and keep that going, and even through these times where it's just like, is anybody listening? Is any, you know, because you get that little groundswell, and then you start to maintain it, and because it's a lag. If you're looking for the instant gratification, it's kind of like, well, boy, this clearly didn't work.
Right.
In fact, it may work. It just
Mhm.
it hasn't gotten there yet.
Right.
So what is the plan now? I mean, I think a lot of times people build up to this record release. They release the record, and then it's like, okay, now what?
Mhm.
So now what? What's going on with you now?
I think from a record perspective, I have two ideas that I'm throwing around. One would be a blog / release of songs on the blog.
Good.
Because I feel like being a solo artist, the fact that I can accomplish the songs that I write almost immediately.
Yeah.
I have a backing band called the Lonesome Crows, but are they collaborating with me, or are they more or less accompanying? I would say they were accompanying these songs. So
Plus, you sound so damn good with just the guitar.
Thanks.
I mean, you sound great with the band too. Don't get me wrong, but
right on.
man, you can pull it off just with a guitar. Not a lot of people
Right.
can.
And so what I'd like to do is, as I'm doing these tours solo for financial and personal reasons, I like to go out on the road.
like me, much
Right.
like myself, you don't like people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual journey.
I have
rather
a
than
problem
when we
with
stopping at the Wendy's
people.
or-
Yeah, right.
But I would like to bring a recorder along and tape every one of those shows.
Damn straight.
And
Absolutely.
the next day when I write that blog, I'll say, oh, and there was this new song I wrote yesterday on the road. I played it, and a couple people booed. Check it out, or whatever.
I'm
it might
so with
be,
you. I'm so with you. I mean, this idea that we must do 18-month album cycles and all that's death, and you're interacting, you're engaging, and you're right. Somebody boos, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What's up, Brian Bishop? How are you? Rocking the My Morning Jacket shirt. Excellent. We will talk to you momentarily. Thank you for joining us. So, no, I love that idea. Throw out some other good ideas. Those are valuable ones for people to hear.
Also, I would say I'm worried about making sure, as far as the next music step goes, that I brand the right thing. And that sounds almost like a fabrication
It's very technical,
of art.
right?
Yeah, it's not.
And yet, that's okay.
It's not an artistic statement, but it still, I think, can
You think Neil Young isn't concerned about his brand?
Right.
Right.
And what I'm concerned about is keeping it consistent that what you're hearing is a songwriter who probably wrote the song on acoustic guitar or harmonica or maybe something strange like a mandolin or something. Anyway, it's a folky blues soulful guy who wrote a song, and it is in whatever element that it is in when you hear it. But the important thing is that you understand where it's coming from, and when you go to a show, you expect to see that sort of thing.
Right.
And in other words, this record that I released, which is produced by a 3-time Grammy Award-winning producer with essentially what was a session band.
Yeah.
You can
Good band.
Great band. And by no means am I displeased with the record in any way. Really, I'm really proud of the record. But I'm still writing these songs in my bedroom, so doesn't it make sense to release some solo acoustic songs?
Yes, it does.
So that's sort of a next step.
And
sort of plan
it's an
musically.
easier thing. It's a more financially doable thing,
Right.
and it doesn't mean. And again, I mean, just like Mr. Charles, but they're twittering away probably. Excellent. You can do it with the piano and nothing else. No, I'm sure you prefer not to.
I've been doing I'm probably going on as a solo piano player. Luckily, it has a pretty full sound.
It does, yes. The piano's a well-designed tool, yes. Back to you, Andrew. And I think more bands need to realize this, too. It's like, look, if you're going to take 14 people out on the road with you, that ain't going to go well, for anybody. So, great. Well, we clearly need to hear another song. Is that possible?
All right, sure. Let's do I've been playing harmonica all day, so I'd like to play harmonica on this song. I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just going to get the harmonica.
That's another thing. I've diversified myself.
Yeah.
Look
at it. He's got a whole thing. Bring that over here.
Yeah,
Can you
sure.
bring it? It's got a whole, harmonica
every key.
dop kit.
Every key. If you go to Burger King, I think they still run the deal. You can collect all 12.
There's a lag here, too. The harmonica dop kit. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. Okay.
All right, so here's the first song on the record, which was done in one take, and Trina insisted, partly for that reason, that it should be the first song on the record. I think partly because it was her favorite as well. But it's called Too Late.
Children screaming in the background.
Early morning, late afternoon, making good time now. Maybe I won't be too late. Well, I walked on and walked on till I was about 5 miles out. A young man drove me the rest of the way. Well, I gotta think I'm getting somewhere now. Oh, but maybe it's just my way. Trying to find those things I left behind. Seems like just yesterday. And I got $1.25 says this bus will stop right at my feet, and I'll be on my way. Maybe I won't be too late. I had a loved one. We had a home, but I couldn't leave well enough alone. I used the fire in her eyes to burn those bridges down. But rivers don't wind the same way now. Wish I could drop her a line, maybe rewind time. But she's somewhere in London now. But I got $1.25 says this bus will stop right at my feet, and I'll be on my way. Maybe I won't be too late. I'm worn ragged now, tired down in some forgotten town. Feels like I've always been that way. They took me this jangling coffee cup I hold in my hand to realize I've always been begging for change. But I got $1.25 says this bus will stop right at my feet, and I'll be on my way. Maybe I won't be too late. I got $1.25 says this bus will stop right at my feet, and I'll be on my way. Maybe I won't be too.
Wow. Yeah. Deep and profound, my lord. That was so great.
Thanks.
Really, I don't know what to say. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Please make that acoustic record.
Yeah, definitely.
I will help you if you need it.
Deal.
You don't need it,
Deal.
but I'll do whatever. That was incredible, just incredible.
Thank
So thank you. So we will get your information up online. We'll get a place for people to download the music. Geez, I don't even know what to say. It's hard for me to kind of convey. That was great.
Thank you.
The music today has been unbelievable. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It's been real.
We have our final guest of the evening, Mr. Brian Bishop. Come on over here, Brian Bishop. Brian Bishop was here. When were you here last, Mr. Brian Bishop? It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Rocking the My Morning Jacket shirt.
I think it was February, March.
Who knows? Hard to say. Now you're down here. You tell the people that maybe weren't watching the last time who you're here, who you are, and why you're here.
My name is Brian Bishop, and I'm actually down here for my day job. But,
what is this day job you speak of?
I work for a marketing agency.
All right.
So we are doing some events down here this summer. So I've been down here a few times for some site checks and different
But you have another job.
Yes, but I used to work full time in the music industry, and I'm slowly transitioning back to that. So I run a company. I do a lot of marketing, both online and offline type of marketing for bands and musicians and labels. And I also work
What's the name
with
of the company, brother?
Porchlight Music is the name of my
Porchlight
company.
URL?
It's porchlightmusic.com.
Excellent.
And I also work closely with a production company that's ran by a friend of mine. We do music videos, and we're kind of incorporating our two companies and forming an umbrella company over the two of them to do music videos and marketing utilizing those videos.
And you just happened to be down here for your other gig during Jazz Fest.
Yeah,
huh? It's just a strange coincidence. Yes. So how's it going? I mean, you're transitioning back into the music thing kind of full time, and what's the landscape out there like?
It's kind of a slow process right now. I mean, definitely with the way things are for myself and my cohort that runs the production company.
Do you mean the bird flu or the global financial collapse?
A little bit of it.
A little bit of bird flu's got it. I'm nervous about the bird flu.
But we're, we both have regular full-time jobs, and so we're
We all do. We have to have
transitioning.
our sexy job
Yeah.
and our non-sexy job. We do.
It's true.
This
It's
is
true.
today's life. This era of bird flus and global financial collapses. We have to have our sexy job, sexy time, and our non-sexy job. And you balance it. That's the reality.
It is. So
It's not bad.
yeah.
The sooner we just kind of like deal with that, and
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going well. We have a lot in the works right now that we're hoping to pull off in the next month or to 2 months. So it's going to be an interesting time over the next couple months here. And,
what type of strategy are you
rolling
using in this marketing scheme of yours?
Well, I don't want to give too much.
Yeah, don't give too much away. We're all in this together.
But basically what we're trying to do is, since I do work for a marketing agency, we work with a lot of big companies.
I'm talking about your own thing.
Right, I'm getting into that.
Okay.
So I have a lot of experience with the corporate side of marketing, as well as the band side, having worked in the music industry for quite a while previously. So I'm trying to blend the two along with the videos. And what we're actually trying to do is help out a lot of up-and-coming emerging bands that we really believe strongly in, and kind of bring the video thing to them and allow them to be able to produce a video. And we're also trying to bring this to corporations and as a unique marketing tool for them to be involved in something kind of grassroots and something that's very authentic for a brand to be involved in. So like I said, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but that's in a nutshell what we're trying to do is engage both the brands and the bands and create kind of a congruent package there.
What do you think of bundling 300 songs and selling them for $5? Well, we like the package, and is there? So we've got your site out there. People can get in touch with you. Now we first came together through the Artist House thing. Here you are, second time, Mr. Josh Charles. We came together with you through the Artist House thing too, right? Is that how we met?
I believe so.
I believe so. Yeah. And Andrew and I kind of came together before that, but now this is a community. We're building this together, and we we do it. We do it for all the reasons that you're saying. We do it to hear this music, to get this music out in a broader sense. We need to do more of this together. We're all, as my friend Ian Rogers said, we all need to share the information. We all need to do, because we all have a common enemy, right? we all do have a common enemy, enemy of the state. We have a common enemy. And so we all need to share our information to fight that common enemy. And thank you for stopping by. Any more shout outs?
You can also check out my personal website. It's Brian, BRIAN-bishop.com. It's more my blog and just personal information about what I've done.
Excellent.
So that one's updated a little more often than my Porch Light one right now. So.
Okay. And by all means, as we're getting ready to log off here, please shout out your Twitter handles so we can all follow each other. Who's the common? Do we have to add? Was it Voldemort? Who do you think the common? I can't say it. Common enemy. Say toy boat.
You don't know
5
when to
times.
stop. Common enemy.
I don't know when to stop. That's a problem with me. The common enemy are the major labels. Come on. What are you thinking? Think. So, shout out your Twitters. I'm GAH650. Andrew, what's your Twitter, brother?
Andrew Duhon.
Andrew Duham. Any spaces or underlines or
I
anything?
believe it's a space. Andrew space Duhon.
Andrew space Duham. Josh.
Charles.
Any spaces or underscores or octothorpes? You know what an octothorpe is?
What's I don't think there's any of those.
Huh? No octothorpes?
It's
It's the pound key.
It's
the
the
pound.
8 Thorpes, right?
Huh? Yes, 8 thorpes. No, it's the pound key. The pound key. The real name of the pound key is an octothorpe.
You can put a Twitter handle with that?
Huh?
You can use that as a Twitter
I
handle?
don't know. No, well, it's a hashtag.
Oh,
That would be the hashtag.
I've learned about that.
Yes, but that the real name for hashtag would be an octothorpe.
Now you know.
No. Yes. All right. So this has been one of our best shows, and so I want to thank everybody. We got to give a shout out to Mr. Chaz Nisbet, J. Charles Nisbet, in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, for putting together, producer extraordinaire J. Charles Nisbet, putting together such a fantastic show. He's online too. I'll let you find him. We'll be back next week. Who do we have next week? J. Charles. Natalie Mae Palms.
And Zach Brown.
Now have you done some shows with Natalie Mae Palms? Yeah. And Zach Brown too. Yeah. So it'll be interesting again next week. We'll see you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. There's deep and profound love and respect, and I mean that genuinely.